I'm beginning
I question your commitment.
I'm beginning to doubt your commitment to sparkle motion.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, because that's the best line in this whole movie.
It's such a good one.
Hello, and welcome to Spooky Sips, where we put our love of horror movies into a podcast and sip some spirits along the way. I'm one of your hosts, Yvette, here with my co-hosts, Laura and Brianna.
Hello.
Hey. Okay, we just got finished watching Donnie Darko.
Oh, man.
Just
Yes,
in time
we
for the
did.
Easter season, you know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
like definitely not a horror movie, but
No, right. Yeah, we should say that, you know, we're opening our repertoire for some loose interpretations
yeah,
of the genre.
We did some non-horrors. It's
Because
spooky.
I would say
it's spooky. Yes,
it's spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So it's set during the presidential campaign of 1988, which, side note, is a good year because that's the year of Brianna. So,
Excellent year. Good vintage.
yep,
Yes,
good
good
vintage. And it kind of centers around this teen boy who is seeing this human-sized rabbit named Frank and telling him to do things. And that's what the movie is.
Yeah.
And just pack in as many people, celebrities that you can, because I had
Holy cow.
forgotten
It's
how many
crazy.
people were in this.
Yeah.
I also forgot how many people were in this. I was like, is every single celebrity or actor in this movie?
And like,
yeah.
even in minor roles, like it was, I
Mhm.
guess I didn't know this, it was Seth Rogen's first movie.
Yeah,
And like, I didn't even notice that was him.
I
At the
know he
time,
looks so. I mean, yeah,
obviously.
he looks so different.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
We also
like,
got baby Ashley Tisdale.
oh yes.
She was one of the ones that like asked a question at the
Mhm.
assembly. I was like,
Mhm.
"Whoa, what are you doing here?"
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Oh my
no,
gosh.
it's like a
Wild.
tiny scene.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
She's the one that's saying that her sister is like too fat or
Oh,
something.
that's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, what a moment.
Yeah, definitely a different time, 1999.
Yes. Oh, this movie. It's so, I mean, again, we were kind of talking about it before I think we started, but like it's so angsty. It's just the epitome of teen angst.
It
Mhm.
is. No, it really is. Because, like, okay, so this is why it's good that there's a couple of millennials on this podcast, because we can tell you, what year did this one come out? Was it?
It came out 2001.
Okay, it was 2001. So it, you know, it was, by the time that I was a teen, it had been out for a couple of years. But
Mhm.
me and my friend Philip, who's also in our family, loved this movie. And this was at a time where you like still went to the movie store to rent movies, like Blockbuster.
I still do that. Excuse me.
And that's true. Movie madness.
Shout out.
Shout out. But what we would do is Philip's, one of his first jobs was at Cold Stone. And where we lived, it's right next door to this amazing pizza place, The Pie. And so we had teenage metabolism. So he would come home with a pizza, a giant pizza, and a Cold Stone bucket of gummy bears. And then he would
Yes.
stop and get Donnie Darko, and we would just watch Donnie Darko. Sometimes we would watch it like twice in a row.
Oh my
Amazing.
God. I mean,
So
that
it's a
sounds like an
very-
incredible day though.
I know, right?
A perfect early 2000s evening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, okay, so
Absolutely.
does that mean you've seen like the director's cut and stuff? Like, have you seen the other versions of this or
No, I hadn't, but I did watch that this time. So
Ooh,
I
okay.
hadn't seen it. So it was interesting because I was like, there were certain things that I did notice
Mhm.
that were different. But yeah, this was the first time.
It's also quite a bit longer, right? Isn't
It
it like
is.
20 minutes longer or something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Mhm.
Now, how
Okay.
did you find the director's cut? I probably just
I watched
the
it
regular
on Peacock, and that was all there was.
because I'm
Oh,
wondering if I
interesting.
ended up watching that.
Did you watch one that was a little under 2 hours or over 2 hours?
It was a little under 2 hours.
Then you
Okay,
watched the theatrical.
Ooh, so I
cut.
watched okay. Ooh,
Mhm.
okay, interesting.
The
Mhm.
biggest thing that I noticed was there were a lot more shots of his eyes.
Yeah.
That was because I was like, I don't remember that so much. And they were long scenes too that really like spent time panning into his eye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I saw mixed reviews on the director's cut.
Right.
I think a lot of people prefer the theatrical. cut
Which
of the
honestly, I
movie.
think is fair. It made it a little even more like angsty if possible.
Oh my gosh.
So like that, I get it.
I feel like usually extended editions and like director's cut and stuff, like I feel like they're usually not better movies. You know, I say this as someone who's watched the Lord of the Rings extended edition.
Right.
You know, it's like these are not better movies. They are just for the fans. Like they're just like, you love this so much, we'll give you 30 more minutes.
Yeah,
like
how long would that be?
For a reason.
They are very long.
Oh my gosh, because those movies are already so long.
But I mean, like the decision to cut it was made for a reason,
Right?
Yeah.
you know,
Like no, for sure.
Right.
Usually there's good reason.
But as a previous super fan, I did appreciate seeing the different one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've watched this definitely not as many times as you have, but I've watched it like a couple years ago for some reason, like a rewatch.
Mm-hmm.
I think just to get the angst. And then I watched it maybe 1 or 2 times before that. And it really is like, I feel like when you watch it as a teen, it has to be your favorite movie. Like when you watch it as a teen, it's so good. And I feel like every time I've rewatched it, I like it a little less and a little less every time.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like I will be honest, when I was a teen, it was my entire identity. And I haven't seen it since, late teens, early 20s.
Mhm.
And I had a very hard time watching it this time. It took me 3 different attempts where I like took breaks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
No,
Like,
the amount of times I rolled my eyes while watching that, I was watching, I was playing it in the living room. And so Matt was like, we have like an open concept, space. So like he was in the kitchen cooking, and like the number of times he would just look over and like roll his eyes at scenes.
Oh my gosh.
Watching it.
See, for me, because I'm the same. So I watched it multiple times because I think I would have been about 16 when it came out. So I watched it a lot when I was younger, and this movie gets my dark angstiness, and it's also got an amazing soundtrack, so such good like music, actors in it. So I loved it then, but then I have not seen it in so long that honestly I forgot some major plot lines of it.
Because
it's been so long. But rewatching it, I kind of appreciated it felt just nostalgic to me. The angstiness and the eye rolling scenes, I actually still enjoyed them because it kind of just reminded me of where I've come from in life.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely nostalgic, which I think is part of why it has such a good following.
Yes.
The people love this movie. That is
I think it's just such a phenomenon where if you loved a movie as a teenager and like you literally only paid attention to the teens and related to the teens, and then you watch it again as a full grown ass adult, and so you're like, oh no, I relate to all of the adults in this and not at all the teens. It's like a weird mind fork to
no, it is. All of a sudden you start seeing the kids so differently. It's like as you grow
that therapist
older,
is so rational.
like as you get older, you see those ages so differently. Like it's like I swear the last time I went to Chick-fil-A, the employee that was working there, like I know that they were 16 probably, but to me that was a 12-year-old. Like I was like, you are 12 years old.
No,
it's wild. It's wild. It's so funny because I also, as I've been older, don't eat like I used to eat as a teenager and, like a young 20-year-old. And maybe I'm now connecting it for some reason today, because I knew we were recording this. I had the biggest craving for Taco Bell. I was like, I need it. I need Taco Bell. So, which I don't really do much anymore.
Taco Bell, if you're out there.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe
I
like
would
once or twice a year, but like I just got like a cheese quesadilla, bean burrito.
Oh. Well, yeah, Rihanna, did you have a craving for gummy bears and pull-aparts?
I literally did. I was feeling so nostalgic for my teenage metabolism that I was like, the days.
I definitely am going to need to do like, lots of extra workouts to
some green juice.
It's not all that bad.
It's fine.
What
Whatever.
Taco Bell.
All right, so we're going to get into it and we're going to go through the movie, but here's my disclaimer for this episode. If you haven't watched it, don't trust our timeline interpretation because it's weird movie. And I'm like, I'm thinking about it right now and I'm like, I don't even remember how the movie starts. So like, go watch it for yourself. But we're going to do the best we can. But it's kind of like, all over the place. And there's a lot of like breaks where there's a lot of multiple storylines happening. So it won't be completely accurate.
Yeah, this is mostly just our vibe of the movie
vibe.
and talking about our memorable scenes.
Exactly.
Yes, because again, we can't do like a death breakdown, and stuff. Like this will be, I think, a slightly different episode.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. But it does start out with the sound of just such a lovely thunderstorm. And it just made me want summer, and summer thunderstorms is so bad. I just feel like spring is taking a long time to get here and I'm ready.
Yeah.
I want summer.
And we get baby Jake Gyllenhaal.
Baby Jake Gyllenhaal. How old was he in this movie? Do we know? Probably not.
I think he's a teen, right?
He's got to be young. Because even Maggie Gyllenhaal looks so young.
She's such a baby.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't remember. I think she's older.
She's supposed to be the older sister, yeah.
And I think in real life, she's the older sister, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No.
But yeah, we see baby Jake Gyllenhaal, who's Donnie Darko, which again, just epic name. Like,
I mean, yeah.
So good. And we just see him laying in the middle of the road and like on the hill with this gorgeous view overlooking the city. And he kind of just wakes up and starts a creepy laugh and kind of walks back home.
Yeah. His laugh throughout the movie, amazing.
He did a good job. He did a really good job in this movie, I feel like.
I agree.
Yeah, not the whole movie.
That's all right. We can have different opinions. We can have. I mean, I don't like the scene with the therapist. I'm like, this is overacting. Like this is stupid.
Yeah.
But other than that one, I thought he did a good job.
Right.
But
I don't remember what happens next.
Oh my gosh.
Like he goes home.
So he goes home and they're as he's walking like at the beginning and then as he's walking there's like a poster of something for the school because I think it's about to be Halloween time.
Yes.
And I only noticed that because I just loved all the fonts in this movie. Like the fonts of the opening credits and then the fonts. It was like, you remember that creepy font from back in the day?
Oh, yes.
Totally.
Wasn't it called Creepy or something?
Yes, it was called Creepy.
So I just loved all the fonts and just, again, we already talked about, like, I kept being like, oh my gosh, there's every person in the world in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the fonts are so, because I feel like, right now, I don't know why, like every company and everything, it's like everything has to be like black, white, or gray and like the simplest, like sans serif font.
It's all the same.
Like everyone's going more and more minimal. And it's like, no, give me the creepy font.
Give me creepy font.
Yes.
Exactly.
Maybe we'll just start using that exclusively,
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Like in emails?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Love it.
Yes. That's how it's going to go from now on, brand change,
rebranding.
Thank
Love
you.
it.
That's what it was.
I knew
it was all there.
Going.
The idea was there.
Just like the fonts shouldn't all be the same, the orders of words shouldn't all be the same. Come on,
what's English?
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, then it's a family dinner. And so
I love this family.
Yeah, mom, dad.
The older that I've gotten, the more that I love the parents. I love the parents.
Yeah, agreed. Because when I was younger watching this, I only identified with the kids. And I feel like I kind of had a negative view of the parents, but that's probably just because I was angsty about my parents.
Right.
And then watching it back, I'm like, oh, they did so much right.
No, yeah, they actually did.
Yeah.
But it sets the stage really well because like the older daughter is talking about how she's going to vote for Dukakis. So we're like, okay, that's where we're at. That's the era that we're in. And there's just a lot of like bickering and
there's bickering with like some of the best like lines. And we'll talk about that as we go throughout the movie. But they're talking about the results of her, voting for Dukakis, the daughter, and, what's that going to do for the world with her children? And then she's talking about it's going to be a few years before she has to squeeze one out. And I'm like, ew, gross.
Yeah.
And then the other line she uses when her and Donnie are arguing is one of them tells the other one to go suck a fuck.
Oh, iconic line.
Iconic.
Iconic.
And then sweet little sister's like, what's that? Like,
yeah, what is that?
But yeah, then I think it's when we start getting kind of a countdown.
Oh yeah, and this is also important because this is where we learn that Donnie has stopped taking his medication, and his parents just found out about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we know, like, okay, there's something going on there.
So the first date we see is that it's 10/2/88. And we hear this voice whispering, "Wake up," to Donnie. And so he kind of like walks out in a trance, and then he sees or hears the countdown. I think he hears the countdown of 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
It's a countdown to when the world will end.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when the big
like
thing
that event.
happened.
You're like, I don't know.
Well, that's when the big thing happened.
Oh,
So
okay.
It's saying like this is when the world will end, and he's outside. Okay, all right, guys.
So Laura, you're just gonna walk us through this movie.
This is why I take notes.
We'll be here for emotional
watched
support.
This movie. Like, I actually just watched this movie. No memory.
So he hears or sees the countdown, whatever, and then it says this is when the world will end, and then there's this big crash, and a jet engine, part of a plane, crashes into his family's house.
Mm-hmm.
His sister had just like snuck back into the house. Because we should say this was after he'd like gone to bed after the family dinner. Then he wakes up and does this.
And it crashes into his room.
He crashes into his room, and he would have been a goner had he been in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of see the fallout of that the next day of people being like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. What happened? And, we get the vibe that like the government is being like very government-y about it and being like, you can't talk about this and we're not going to tell you anything. Like Donnie is talking to his dad about it and he's like, so we're not allowed to tell anyone that we don't know anything. And the dad's like, yes, exactly.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then we see, I think it's on the TV that the dad is watching, where I was like, Patrick Swayze.
Yes.
I had
Patrick Swayze's character
blocked out. My subconscious blocked out that he was even in this. Like,
oh my gosh. He plays such a hateable man.
He's this like
so much.
Ken doll motivational speaker. Like he looks like he's made of 80s plastic. Like,
yes.
And he's just got these very unbelievably, ridiculously cheesy infomercial type.
Yeah. And why are they watching these in school? Like, why is this being shown?
I have no idea.
Why does Patrick Swayze's character have so much sway on the school? Like he's speaking there. They're showing his motivational videos.
Like he's the curriculum. Like his spiel about like choosing the light, not the fear. That is the curriculum. It's crazy. I'm sure he's making a lot of money from it too.
Oh, for sure.
And
I mean, we see his house. Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. And we've kind of like set the scene of like who they all are because we see them like walking to school and talking about the accident. So like Donnie's got a couple of friends and then we learn that there's a couple of guys that are like bullies that hang out with him, but they're not really his friend. They're kind of assholes. Yeah. And they make fun of this one sweet girl. What was her name?
It was Sharita.
Yeah. And they're so mean to her.
There is some blatant racism in this movie.
Oh, and like
I mean, just straight bullying.
And, it's awful. But
yeah.
And then there's so we learn that that's kind of his circle. And then he's in class one day and he's in Drew Barrymore is the teacher.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I, again, forgot she was in this.
And she's got this perfect 80s colored hair.
Oh, and her outfit.
She's so pale with this like reddish auburn hair and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And you can tell that she's like the liberal teacher.
Yes.
You know?
She's like wanting to challenge them to read and decipher, and like fight the man.
So funny.
like that.
She just stands around making smug looks. You know, like it's.
And she's dating another teacher in the school who's like the science teacher, who's Noah
Dr.
Wiley.
John Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But yeah, as he's in Drew Barrymore's class, a new girl comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And
in the middle of class, of course.
Yes.
Her name is Gretchen, and she was sent to the wrong class, and that's why she's there now.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, okay, well, where do I sit? And Drew Barrymore is like, sit next to the boy that you think is the cutest.
I would have died.
Laura would have left. She would have vomited and then left.
I would
100%.
I would have just started to cry.
Yeah.
And then just left and never gone back to the school ever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100%. No, yeah, just not going back. Thank you.
I would have done it for sure.
And
of course she chooses Donnie. So she makes this other girl like, Joni, get up.
Yeah, get up.
Yeah, that was just atrocious behavior on the teacher's part. Honestly, and we'll talk about what gets her in trouble as a teacher later.
Mm-hmm.
But this should have gotten her fired. Right. Don't you ever do that to somebody. That is borderline child abuse.
Yeah.
And she's played by Jenna Malone, who one of my other favorite movies is Saved. And have you seen that, Yvette?
No.
Okay, wait, stop. Actually, you guys, we're going to stop recording because the three of us are going to go watch Saved.
Oh, just
no, Yvette, you
stop. Okay, I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, so it's the most amazing movie, but I feel like she plays kind of almost the same character. Like it's very similar vibes. Like,
same personality. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. No, but Saved is an amazing movie.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I wrote it down.
It's one of the most quotable movies. Like Trace probably quotes this movie more than any other movie he's seen. Like,
ooh, okay,
yeah, it's really good. It's a really just it's a really good representation of the time period it came out in. Mm-hmm. And it's funny and it's lighthearted and
but also
it's very
just
good. It's very good.
So I love her. So she's another actress that's now a big deal. So yeah, we've kind of like set the scene. I think the next thing that happens is he goes to therapy, right?
Well, first so first he sees the old woman checking the mail. They call
Grandma
her
Death.
Grandma Death.
Oh, Grandma Death.
Yeah. So, and he just kind of explains that every day she goes, like, not just every day, she's constantly just checking her mailbox because she like knows something's supposed to be there and she never has any mail. It was really sad.
It was really sad.
But yeah, then it's the scene of Donnie talking to his psychiatrist and letting her know about Frank.
And Frank is amazing. It has this almost like I don't know how to describe it. It's not like an animatronic voice, but like
kind of.
It almost has.
Honestly, that's kind of a good way to describe it,
right? Yeah. Like it's got that quality to it. His voice,
it's like tinny, unreal, like,
and he's just this giant bunny rabbit, and not any bunny rabbit you've ever seen. So if you haven't seen the movie and you're listening, at least just go type it into Google and you'll see it. So you'll know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. But it's not like a bunny, but it's a man wearing a bunny costume. Like you can tell it's a person in a bunny suit.
Sorry. I should have said, like, it's not like an actual cute little rabbit.
And he just sees this adorable bunny rabbit named Frank.
I didn't even think
but like his yeah, it's a little different if you're expecting like just like a giant actual rabbit.
Yeah.
But then so the bunny suit is, like this gray bunny suit, but then his face, it's like metal and almost like a machine.
Yeah, like the eyes glow, like have a light behind them, are very glowy.
Yeah.
And his therapist is, as I've gotten older, I myself am in therapy every day and I appreciate therapists, and I'm like, oh, she's so like understanding and just very, she just lets him talk. Like,
yeah, there's things she does right.
Of course,
there are things
right
she does wrong.
for sure.
No, I know we're so early, but I'm honestly really excited for your psych segment on this movie.
Oh man,
where are you going?
I was like, this is a doozy.
Yeah.
Agreed. So yeah, we just know that he's got this kind of, she later calls it like a daytime or a daylight hallucination where he just is seeing this giant rabbit and hearing him. And then I don't know.
Well, and then it's cutting back to, there's another infomercial we see with Patrick Swayze, and he's talking about being a fear survivor, and it's having all these people that are fear survivors because there was like a woman who, was overeating, and because she he helped her to lose weight because she survived her fear. And
they are the dumbest things I've ever seen. So
stupid.
Oh no.
They're like testimonies.
And we learn later that his character, Patrick Swayze's character, is a very, very bad man. But I knew from the beginning, and already you can tell because his infomercials are awful. And
you should
slime ball.
Well,
but most importantly, he pronounces human as human. Get the hell out of here if you do that.
No.
And also, like, everybody loves and praises him, and he's a savior to the community. So you should know if that ever happens.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get over the human. I had a professor in undergrad for one of my psych classes, and she pronounced it human. And I don't think I learned a dang thing. And I think the class was even maybe about like crisis or trauma. I couldn't focus on anything because I
noticed.
I got so irrationally angry every time she said human.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that. And I didn't know he said that.
Yes, he did. He said,
yeah, I totally did not.
It really sounds like you're just saying human still.
No, it's definitely not.
No, there's
human is different.
There's an H in there. There's an
I'm
H
just saying
it's
moving on.
Like, it's worse to me than the sound of someone chewing. Is if someone says human.
We like mastication here on Spooky Sips. Yes. So
only sexy sips or spooky sips after dark or whatever we're calling this.
Subscribers only channel is happening.
But then we get dream number 1.
Yeah.
I wrote down.
Yeah, why don't you tell us about it, Laura? Since you're
this is Laura. This is really a you episode.
Oh, geez.
You're carrying the weight
Give
of
us
this
all the
one,
dream.
Laura.
Give us the full movie recap. Throw in some really good psych.
Yep.
I don't know. That's a lot of pressure. I feel like. Okay,
no, we believe in you.
Team on your back today.
Yep.
Here's what I think is the first dream. If I wrote, in fact, actually, I think this is the only dream that I wrote down. Is this the dream with the buildings, the technical, like looking buildings in the water? Yeah. We're gonna say it was. Okay.
Yeah.
So the one dream I'm gonna analyze. He's dreaming, and there's these like they look like very just like kind of technical like buildings, but instead of them being in streets, they're in water.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, and then we do see Frank the bunny. We also see that he's dreaming. So Donnie is dreaming that he's carrying an axe. We see a pipe, and then there's rushing water. Now, come to find out, parts of this dream were also true.
Yeah.
But let's analyze the parts of it that he was dreaming while doing it. So, technology and like the part about the buildings. So it could represent like the buildings are representing technology or rationality or like structure, logic, control. Versus emotion, which we've talked about, is kind of like water, which kind of represents your emotions, your subconscious. And so the fact that the buildings are floating, but they're not submerged, suggests it's kind of referring to the balance between logic and emotion, which is really something that Donnie is struggling with his mental health. So this could reflect that he's uncertain, like he feels like he doesn't have a solid foundation in life, which is absolutely true.
I mean, yes.
So bunnies can represent, so I went to my trusty old dream book. And it said that bunnies represent fecundity. I don't know if I'm saying it.
Wow, that is an SAT word.
I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's FECUNDITY.
Yeah.
Fecundity and speed, which fecundity could represent, or it means the ability to produce an abundance of offspring, or in this case could be new growth or ideas. So like being able to grow and change, or being kind of stuck where you're at because of, again, some of these mental health things that are going on with Donnie.
I mean, that's kind of what they say when you have a dream about a baby or being pregnant, that actually it's just about like change. You know?
That makes sense.
So that makes sense.
And the fact that a bunny is typically, we think of it as like innocent and soft and sweet, but the fact that it's made to be creepy indicates that there's this warped version of reality or hidden truths.
Oh, interesting.
So something that like Donnie could be confronting, but is not. AKA, he's not taking his medications anymore. He could be confronting and addressing his mental health needs, but instead he's kind of just trying to bury them and hide them, and it's not going to go well, is what this dream is telling him.
Interesting.
And that part of himself is that he's feeling like it's distorted or unpredictable, and it could represent that like he's worried that time is running out, because like rabbits, like Alice in Wonderland, you know, like the rabbit in Alice in Wonderland is
clock.
Like, yeah, I'm running out of time. So Donnie could be feeling like his time to understand and confront his mental health needs is running out.
Well, because he learned it is.
Exactly.
I mean, like literally there's a countdown.
A real countdown.
There's a countdown. So an axe symbolizes destruction or like cutting of ties. So and a pipe can represent communication and connections with others, or something that is like being blocked or redirected. So when you kind of put these together, it's that it could be something like where Donnie feels like if he does not confront this, he's going to have to cut his connections with others, or that the only way he can overcome this mental illness is if he cuts and severs his connections with others, because he feels like he's going to bring them down. He feels like he's going to put them in danger with his own stuff that's happening. Which really, it all goes like,
it sure does.
I mean, yeah.
And then the rushing water, again, because water is tied back to emotions, this could just be kind of showing that he's feeling like really strong emotions about the situation that he's in right now, and that there's this impending kind of doom or change that he's going to have to confront. He doesn't feel in control of it, and he's overwhelmed. And that's why that water is rushing out, because it's like it's too much. He's feeling very overwhelmed and afraid of it, of the change that's coming. So, yeah, it's kind of a warning sign that Donnie needs to, he needs to stop trying to hide that part of him, confront it, or else he's going to risk severing connections with others and bad things.
Yeah.
So that's the dream analysis.
No, nice. I love it. Yeah. And I mean, we do learn that some of the dream is just because it's true.
Right. Because that's what he's
really he does it.
Doing. Yeah, but he does it while sleepwalking. So, you know, that counts as the dream.
And then we all learned the new word fecundity.
Yes.
I hope I'm saying that right.
Right, but probably.
I was like,
yes.
I was like, I have no idea what that word means.
Never heard that one.
Yeah.
So then the next day they're waiting for the school bus, and the school bus don't come. The school has been canceled because the school is flooded.
And they see that
like everyone was like freaking out that the school had been, because it was like a mess.
Well, because it had been flooded, but also vandalized.
Yes.
So the axe that had been used to cut the pipe in the school was in there's the weirdest school mascot, the bulldog statue.
Weird.
It's like this giant statue, and the axe was in its head.
Yeah.
Because like a bulldog head, but the body.
I know. I was like, is that like a merman? Like what?
Yeah. No, it was like a man's body. Like really ripped.
Weird.
Very weird. And then it's written in paint, "They made me do it."
It's like, who did it? Who made them do it? What
Right.
was, yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But then Donnie, okay, fine. Just, you guys can just log off. I'll just.
Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and leave this one to you.
Like, I remember everything, but I don't know the timeline at all.
Well, so I'll just say the timeline and then you all pitch in with what happened. Okay, so then Donnie and Gretchen are getting to talk. And I thought their way of first talking to each or, getting to know each other was so cute because Donnie at some point is kind of just letting her know a little bit about himself. And he says, or she's letting him know about her. And she's like, yeah, I guess I have emotional problems. And he's like, oh, I have those too. Like he got
like
so
excited.
Like, oh, cute. We should hang out.
Oh my gosh, same.
It was like the vibe in American Horror Story Murder House of Tate and Violet. I felt like the vibe was very
a little bit, yeah,
similar,
Mm-hmm.
Bonding over their traumas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because she alludes to there's problems with like her mom and stepdad.
Yeah, because she even says that like her dad killed her mom. Like she says.
Oh, did she say it here? Okay.
Yeah. She goes more into it later, but like that her dad stabbed her mom and she survived her mom. And so they're here and they're like in the witness protection program. Like she talks about how she got to choose her name, like, and she thought her name sounded cool. So that's why she chose it. So yeah.
And then Donnie asks if she wants to go with him.
And she's like, yeah, go where?
Go what?
And he's like, no, it means like being together here, like a couple.
Like, what? Who says it like that?
And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I know, like in the 50s. Like,
do you want to go with me?
Right. But they do. So now they're boyfriend, girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Now she goes home. She's like, okay, bye.
She goes home.
Okay,
bye.
Then he goes back to the psychiatrist, and this is a part she does wrong. She is like, maybe we should do some hypnosis on you. I think that could help the situation. So she starts the hypnosis, and then he is just, teenage boy about it, and he just is telling her essentially like the only thing he can think about is effing.
Yeah, I mean, teenage boy.
And the first time that I saw this, I thought that he was screwing with her. Like, I thought that he was not actually hypnotized and he was just trying to like make her uncomfortable to be like, see, it doesn't work. Like, I thought he was screwing with her. But he's not. He's actually hypnotized.
Yeah.
And he unbuttons his pants.
And having teenage boy thoughts.
And that's when she wakes him up.
With her clap, clap.
And she's like, yeah, get out of my office. Thanks.
Yeah.
And then the boys are debating. So then we have a scene of Donnie, and he's hanging out with his friends, and they're debating. Again, it's just very typical teenage boy thing. They're debating about Smurfs.
And Smurfette.
And yeah, that was definitely an eye roll. I was like, oh my God.
But I loved how Donnie Darko was like, no.
It's like, you guys are doing this so wrong.
They're not sexual.
Because the boys are saying like she's just there to basically to be like they're, like to have sex with all the
like her, I don't know what they call it, but
Smurfs. And Donnie's like, no, they're more than that. Like you can tell like, yeah, like this is a scene where he's deep and all the other boys are not deep. I love it.
I mean, yes, that's what's happening.
So good.
Oh my God.
Then we learn that so we talked about Drew Barrymore's character is, kind of pushing the envelope, making them think about things. So she's having them read Graham Greene's The Destructors, and the PTA is having a debate about it. Like they're having a whole meeting about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, wait, wasn't the PTA meeting not about that? It was about the flood, right? Where it was like emergency PTA meeting.
Yes. And then that one mom made
completely deviates the PTA meeting.
Exactly.
That's right. Okay. So they weren't supposed to be meeting about this, but it comes up in the PTA.
It becomes that, which of course.
Right. Right. And I don't know that book. Do either of you know Graham Greene's The Destructors?
I do, but I haven't read it.
Yeah, well, I think it's like it's shorter.
I think Philip read it.
Probably.
I think she
but I haven't. Yeah.
yeah, it made me curious about the book. I was like, oh, I should look into that book.
And I mean, I think it's what this scene does is really capture like how little it can take to get someone incited to want to ban a book in a school, because like really it isn't because they were reading this book that caused the school to be vandalized,
Right.
like that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, we know a little bit about books getting banned here in the state, so
Yeah.
but so while they're having this debate, where it's also like cutting in between the PTA people, and then Donnie Darko is talking to Frank about time travel. Frank's telling him about time travel.
Yes.
Like, we're seeing those scenes simultaneously.
Mm-hmm. And then
this is the
Okay.
It's
like,
our worst episode
all watched
yet.
this movie. But somehow I don't remember any part of it.
I think because
Like, I
he's around.
remember about a scene. I remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember the order of things.
No?
So it's like as you bring it up, it's like, yeah, no,
Oh,
that's
right.
of course that's what happens. Like I remember scenes, but not.
Now
the
let's
right
talk about this scene. This scene is when Mrs. Farmer does the lifeline exercise with the cards.
Oh, yes. And Mrs. Farmer is the most obnoxious character. I don't know if we've really gotten into it, but like, yeah, she's the one that wanted to ban the book. She is a mom of one of the daughters on the dance team of Donnie's little sister. And she also is like the homeroom teacher or something.
Yes.
And she is obsessed with Patrick Swayze's character.
I love her character.
Oh my gosh.
Much. She is giving everything.
She really is.
Like she is insufferable and like the best way possible. Like I was so happy every time her character was on the scene.
Yes. She's played by Beth Grant, she's been in so much.
Oh yeah.
She was awesome. During the PTA, she was of course the one that wanted to ban the story, but then she like had the quote where it's like, as a mother and an educator, really I know even more than anyone else in this room.
The biggest voice of reason here.
Exactly. I have more say. Like I should get double the votes.
Yeah, no, I love her so much.
So she's like making this homeroom class watch another video of Patrick Swayze, and then she makes this project of the lifeline. And what is it? It's love and fear.
So love is on one side and fear is on the other. And she like gives them these card situations, and they have to go put it. Is it coming from is the decision on the card, is it coming from a place of fear or love? Mm-hmm. And she's like very much like, this is not a spectrum. It's one or the other. Mm-hmm. And Donnie is like fighting back. He's like, no, life doesn't work that way. Emotions don't work that way.
Yeah. I do love that it's like the whole argument was like, oh, it doesn't have to be like dichotomous, like one thing or the other. And it's like, it's literally a line. Like it's literally a spectrum that she put up there though.
Right. Exactly.
Like just saying.
But I think his point is the 2 points you chose aren't the spectrum. That's not the spectrum.
Yeah.
Love and fear are not the two things that make humans decide what they do, Because like obviously once you've watched the movie and once, you've seen a teenager analyze it, you're like, you learn that it's, about not conforming and all of that important angst. And Donnie is kind of the outspoken, and we have another scene later where like he is the one that will say what we're all thinking, where he's like, this is bullshit. I'm not going to conform. Like, and this is kind of one of the big displays of that.
Yeah.
And I love where she like is then telling the story back to the principal about like, so Donnie gets in trouble. And so she's like, she says that, he told me to forcibly place an exercise card into my anus.
I love it because they're all like, I can't even repeat what he said. And she's like, I will.
And the dad just loses it. He starts laughing so hard. Like the mom seems a little mortified. And the dad is just laughing like.
Because it's so good.
So then
there's like a scene later on, and this is just a little small scene later on where the parents are talking about it. And the mom is like, basically saying like, I don't think we should let him get away with telling a woman to insert anything anywhere. And the dad is like, I thought we should have bought him a moped. Like, and they both start laughing, and they're actually really cute because they like listen to each other. And, but you can tell that the parents are like trying to come on the same page of what to do about Donnie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that'd be so hard to raise a kid with issues like that.
Mm-hmm.
So some of that had happened back on 10/6, but now it gets to the new date is 10/10, and Donnie, and I didn't even write the name of the actual teacher. I was just calling him Carter. The teacher that no wife,
Dr. Carter.
So Donnie's talking to Dr. Carter about time travel, and discovers that Grandma Death wrote a book about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives him a copy of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He just so happens to have one.
Of course.
Cut to another psychiatrist meeting. So clearly this kid is getting a lot of mental health support, which is very good.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he has the conversation with her, which is a really sad, but again, this is why all the kids loved it, because we're so angsty and feeling our emotions so hard at the time. And where he just says that every living creature dies alone. And he kind of is like wrestling with that idea and like coming to terms with it.
Yeah, because like he talks about his dog that like went under the porch to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's
so sad. So sad. And then some men are watching some sports ball, like the dad and his friend. They're watching football, and Donnie's there with them. And then all of a sudden he starts to see, like, it almost seems like this like water orb.
Like a water slinky almost.
Like a slinky orb, something.
And he's had a dream about this already.
Mm-hmm.
He's already had a hallucination about this. But this time he's like with other people.
Yeah. And it's like coming out of his chest. And it's almost like kind of like out of his chest or gut, like in the middle, but it's showing him kind of where he's gonna go, maybe. Or it starts with his sister. Like he sees the path coming, and the path is kind of like skipping through the living room, and then sure enough his sister comes skipping through the living room. So it's almost like this path of destiny.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Path of destiny.
But then he sees his own and he follows that, and
the inspiration for this came from, I think the director and writer was watching football. And for those of us that do watch football, we know that when something interesting happens, the commentators pause and then they circle and then they draw a line to show us where the play is about to go. So when we rewatch, we can get the idea of what the play is about to be. So he thought, wait, that could be kind of interesting. So that's why that was the inspiration for adding it. And that's why they were watching football when he first sees it.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant.
Wow.
It totally makes sense.
Would have
guessed
that. Like I never would have conjectured that.
Yeah. Cool. And then it's so then Donnie sees his own path, and so he follows it, and it leads him directly to his parents' closet.
With a box with a gun in it.
And he takes it.
Yeah.
So it's like he's following the destiny to get this gun, so something's going to go down. But then it's 10:18, so we've skipped up some time, and all I wrote down for my notes is botched kiss with Gretchen.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's that weird scene.
I have to say again, like, God, I felt like I had been understood as a person for the first time in this scene, because I was like, oh, that's so poetic. And because she's saying, like, he goes to kiss her and she's like, no, not now. She's like, I need this to be in a moment where I am reminded that life is beautiful. And he's like, yeah, I get that. Okay.
She's like, because she's like, right now, some pervy old man is watching or something. Like, now's not the time. And so she's like, I need to wait. It needs to be more than this. And I was like, yeah, that's life. You tell him.
Yeah. So then that's also where the guy is, right? With the ice cream cone? Or is that a different scene?
Yes, it is. Yeah. The creepy guy.
And also not with a guy holding an ice cream cone.
Like staring at us.
Right.
Right.
That was the
perv.
creepy old, the creepy man.
Yep. Yep.
So the parents go to see the psychiatrist, and here's where I'm going to express some more dissatisfaction with her. We see no point in time when the psychiatrist discusses with Donnie, hey, I think it would be beneficial if I could share some of this with your parents. He's not in an imminent risk or danger, anything like that. And she just starts telling them about all these very personal things that Donnie has confided. That is such a breach of confidentiality.
Yeah, she tells him like everything.
Like all she could have had to do was say something like, I spoke with Donnie and he agrees I should involve you in the conversation or something like that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a scene from Mad Men that made me think of asking you this, but when did confidentiality with minors become a thing?
Oh.
Because I know it didn't used to be like in the olden days.
Yeah.
But like when with minors was there an established law of confidentiality, I wonder? Because I'm like, if it was in 88, I wonder I have no idea. So like I'm just throwing this in the dark.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it has been my whole career.
Right.
And it's really just now known to be definitely best practice in order to be able to actually support. But I don't know at a time when that changed. I probably have learned that at some point, but that's
all right. Well, we'll look into that.
Yeah,
because I just almost wonder if like that was just kind of how it went. Like if you're concerned, you're able to share.
Right. Well, and it might also be like the type of quote unquote psychiatrist or therapist you have. I mean, there can be people that are licensed that have gone through, the national and, licensure certification, things like that.
Also, like just for the plot of the movie.
Right.
I mean, yes.
There also could just be people that like just are like, yeah, I'm going to provide therapy and have no training whatsoever. And so that's also a thing that happens more often.
And again, this is another moment where like, I'm just like, now as the adult, I'm like, wow, the parents really like, they were trying because the mom is like, God, she's such a good actress. She has this way of doing this thing and she does it a few times where we see it dawning on her. Like her face is at first like crying and upset, but then she like changes it into trying to like be more calm. And like we see her face having this huge journey in this one little moment. And it's just, she's amazing at it. But like she crushes. Tell that the parents are like, okay, like, what do we do? Like, we want to help. Tell us what we need to know. Like,
So she like is explaining that she feels Donnie just cannot cope with the threats of reality. And so that is part of what's led to these daylight hallucinations. And I do like this part because again, it's a very serious topic. But they put some levity into it, some lightness, because she says, has he told you anything about Frank and, the rabbit? And his mom's like, I don't recall him mentioning a rabbit. No.
No. Let me think about it. I don't think so.
Then I just wrote up the meds. So I don't know if they're like.
Well, then she said, I recommend upping the dosage of his medication.
And then this is what I wrote next. Sleazebag Swayze, Frank. Let his life be taken by fear.
Wow. What a note.
What a note. Because is this the next dream?
Well, no. Okay. I think this is when, so Swayze, Frank, is talking about don't let your life be taken by fear. Or he's talking about, you know what it was? He was talking about someone who like died. Maybe it was even the guy that the dad had talked about died when he was younger or something. He's mentioning, I think he mentions a man, Frank.
Yeah.
Wait,
it's at the school, right?
Yes. All right. Cut that last
During
part
the
out.
assembly.
It did make sense. It's all coming back to me now. So in a presentation to the school,
Which again, why is this man at the school?
He's like getting all the contracts, all the money. But he talks about the sad story about Frank, who let his life be taken by fear as like a warning sign to all the students.
And it like upsets Donnie.
Yeah. So I love that he's just a badass and he like goes to ask a question.
Yeah.
And just the way he does it is amazing.
Oh, yes.
Because he's just so like laid back, but also very firm and direct.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he calls him the literal Antichrist.
Yeah. He calls him an effing Antichrist.
I think
you're the fucking Antichrist.
I love how long it took for like the teachers and stuff to react. Like they let him go for like a while.
They really did.
Finally,
before they stepped in. I know.
Part of it is like you can just tell that Swayze is just like so disingenuous. Like you can tell it's all a show.
Yeah.
You can tell it's all just to sell copies of his program and book, and he doesn't mean any of it. And we learn later how much he didn't mean it, but you can just, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's a sleazebag.
So I think now is when he has the dream, right? Isn't that or not yet?
No, what dream?
The one with the water? That was earlier, right?
No, the one before Patrick Swayze's.
Oh, at the movie theater.
Yeah.
The movie theater?
Like, is that a dream or is he just hallucinating?
I didn't write that as a dream.
Yeah,
okay.
that seemed...
I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like he was awake the whole time. Yeah, it didn't feel as much as like a dream.
So, yeah, I have like after he called Swayze the Antichrist, then he's like getting philosophical with Carter.
Right.
Like they're talking.
Yes.
Yeah. They're talking about like, you know, what is time travel and what would that mean? And it's just getting very like deep and philosophical.
Yes.
And he starts to like ask him about God and then he's like, I can't. Carter's like, I can't talk to you anymore about this. Like I could lose my job.
And then I wrote down that they kiss after being bullied.
Yeah, because she had gotten.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yes, because she had gotten made fun of. They were like in class.
And yes.
She had asked a question and the two bullies, Seth
They were
Rogen,
doing like a presentation. I guess they were supposed to make like a fake product or something.
Yes.
So they were like, oh, we're going to make these glasses for babies or whatever.
Yeah, it was like a memory thing. And they were like, well, what if you used it for evil? And one of the bullies was like, didn't your dad kill your mom?
Yeah.
Stab your mom.
And she just gets like upset. So she ran out.
Yes, that's right.
And so she ran out in front of the school on the steps. And then Donnie chased after her.
Gives her a kiss in front of the bullies. Show her life can be beautiful.
Poetic.
Yeah, but then after that, they go to the movies and she pulls a Laura and she falls asleep.
Immediately falls asleep.
In the movie, which I have done not only at home, but also have done in the theater.
Well,
you know that little
cozy.
You know that little meme of the little cat that's like, no, I'm watching. And it just progressively falls asleep more. That's Laura.
That's me.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you're like, okay, I'll just rest my eyes for like a little bit. I'm just going to, that's gone.
Which is a wild concept to me, which like maybe we need to do a poll with our followers to figure out like, I could never, unless I had been drugged, I couldn't fall asleep during a movie.
Oh,
like,
really?
I will stay awake to the point of pain because like I can't fall asleep while I'm doing something.
No, it just puts me in a trance relaxation state.
Yeah.
I would never.
Oh yeah, like I straight like fall asleep to the TV. Like I can't fall asleep without TV.
I've never.
I fall asleep to the TV, and then also when I read at night, it gets me so relaxed. I read like 3 pages and fall asleep.
And
I could never.
Yeah,
you guys, that's wild to me. Okay, listeners, we're gonna make an Instagram poll, and you're gonna have to tell us who's crazy here.
Oh, all of us, but in different ways.
Yeah, definitely all of us.
We're
it's
just
like yeah. Like I do it because my anxiety is so bad. Right as I need to fall asleep, that I need to focus on something else, like a TV show or a book or something. because then I can rest my mind.
See, I think I can't because the thoughts in my head are so loud that I just can't.
Yeah, it's just different flavors of crazy is really
that's
what we have going on here.
That's really
so she's sleeping.
So she's sleeping. And then Frank is sitting right next to her. So Donnie sees Frank.
We have a little chit chat.
And it's one of the most to me memorable quoted lines where Donnie asks him, he's like, "Why are you wearing that stupid suit or that stupid bunny suit?" And then Frank goes, "Why are you wearing that stupid man suit?"
So good. Touche.
Oh, it's we're all just running around with a mask on.
Suit.
Philip and I used to ask each other that a lot.
It's so emo. It's so emo.
So Frank shows him something.
Yes.
Right? He's like, "Look at the screen." And he shows him a portal or something first, right?
Yeah.
Here's this portal. And then we see a house we've seen before. Which is Patrick Swayze's house, because I don't remember his character's name
at all.
No clue.
Just
Patrick Swayze. It may have even been filmed partially at his house. I swear. Maybe I'm making that up. I feel like I saw that somewhere.
I believe it.
And he told
it was his own wardrobe. I saw a thing about that.
Yes, he did bring. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he tells him to go burn it.
Yeah, right? And he's like, "All right, done."
Well, before he tells him to go burn it, though, we see who Frank is.
Oh, that's right. He takes off
his stupid bunny mask.
And it's a guy.
Yeah, we don't know this man.
We don't.
He's just a guy.
Yeah,
he looks a teenager as well.
Yeah.
Maybe a little older, but in that range.
Yeah, roughly their age.
Kind of long, dark hair.
But one of his eyes is very messed up.
It's been shot out.
Because we didn't talk about, no. Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's why. Because remember the scene earlier in the bathroom when he stabbed Frank's eye? I thought that was why. Remember there was a scene where he was in his bathroom, Donnie Darko, and Frank was in the reflection and he had a mirror and he stabbed the bunny suit eyes out.
He was stabbing at the bunny suit eyes, but I think we learn later why it.
Right. No, I know that, but I always thought it was the knife.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. It's foreshadowing.
Yeah. No, I love that it's a reveal and it's wait, who is that?
Right.
Wait, I don't know who that is.
And it's weird because we almost feel like we're supposed to know, and it's wait a second, did I miss something?
Right. And so then we get again one of those back and forth scenes where it's the talent show and then it's Donnie going to the house.
Oh, you guys.
So the talent show.
Everybody's at the talent show.
First it's Sharita's dance.
And it's so pretty.
It's so pretty and cute, but people are just mean.
Drew Barrymore's just watching her, cheering her on because she relates to her. And
And Donnie Darko's mom is also you can tell really into it. It's so cute and people are just so mean. Apparently some of the studio execs had asked the director to get rid of Sharita's character. Which no.
I feel like it's important.
It's important to show how awful people can be.
Yeah.
But also
it's also important to show who relates to who in what ways. It's a tie-in for all the different characters.
Yeah.
And after Sharita's dance goes and everyone's just light clapping, not really reacting, then it's time for sparkle motion.
And it's just as nightmarish as a teenager would envision it to be now. Everyone loves it. They're just these tiny girls doing these dances that you're where's childhood? Reminds me a lot of Little Miss Sunshine,
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Same vibe.
Donnie's sister is in it. I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah, and the other teachers, Miss Farmer, whatever her name was.
Yeah. Yes.
Her daughter, they're in it together.
Yeah. But then it cuts back to Donnie in, Swayze's house. And at first as he walks in, there's the most horrendous, just tacky, giant painting of himself in his
Yes.
house.
I want to
Like,
get
it's
there one day, you
huge.
know? Like,
Massive.
You can do that right now.
I mean, I
can
hate
pretty
myself
much
so
guarantee you
much
someone on Etsy can
that
make you
I
that.
could never, but maybe one day I'll get there, you
Maybe
know?
one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying, why wait? You
Right.
can absolutely find someone to make one of these of you.
I'll just do it of Laura's face.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that
just
be
do-
amazing if I
Yeah.
just had like a giant portrait of Laura in my house? I would.
You would. You would. Well, so, okay, because I work in a school, I have to get school pictures every year.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I am required to get them. I don't have a choice because they have to like update the website and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So for about 6 years, well, they still do this. So I have to go get them. But then about 2 weeks after I've had my school picture taken, I don't pay for these. They print out, like when you're a kid and you get your school pictures and there's like the 8x10s and then there's a few 3x5s and then there's like all these pictures. They print them out and they stick them in my mailbox for me. Like, what do you think I want to do with all these printed pictures of my own face?
First of all, don't forget about the stickers.
Well, no, that's what I was getting to next. For about 6 years, not only did they do that, so they don't do the stickers anymore, sadly, but then they also did a row of about 5 stickers. It's my portrait on these like 1 inch by 2 inch like pieces of sticker. They're stickers, so I can stick my face on things.
They're all over my house.
I give them to
Everywhere.
Brianna at random times.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
Like one time
My car.
one time she was feeling a little low, and so I put my sticker, I put my face on like a bag of like hot Cheetos and gave them to
Nice.
her, or like random things.
I got my passport out recently. There was one on there.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
I just find them all over the place.
You should frame all of these.
Yeah.
I know.
Like, did you get school pictures when you were a kid? Like, I'm just
Yes.
this like
Like a
an
side-by-side.
entire wall of just like side
My
by
progression.
side school pictures.
Yes.
That would be so sad.
So
No,
funny.
actually, it's fine.
Like if you walked into your house and it's just like so many, like 50 pictures of you.
Yeah.
Yes. I love this idea.
There would be like a big gap though from like, my senior year
right.
until
okay, yeah.
like I'm 30.
Right.
And then there
Yeah.
would be like
Fine.
No, you'll just have to find some.
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
we'll like fill in pictures.
Yeah.
What the heck were we talking about?
I think
Oh.
Patrick Swayze's downfall.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's in the newspaper that his house burned down and he had a giant like pedo room in the basement where
Yeah.
like he had a ton of photos and
Mhm.
Called it a kitty porn dungeon.
lots of kitty porn down there.
Yes.
And so far, it had other people haven't seen it yet. That comes out in the
Mhm.
next thing, because I think it's also around this time that Drew Barrymore's character loses her job. Like I think
Oh,
that
I think so,
happens,
yeah.
and then the rest does, and they fire her because they're like, you just don't have the same values that we have here,
Yeah.
and like you're not a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
for
And he's like,
us.
I'm so sorry that you were not good at your job.
Right. That you, oh yeah, he's like, well, I'm sorry that you failed.
Yeah.
Right.
Like he uses the word failed, like,
Yeah. Well, and at least, I don't know, when I watched it, I honestly had no idea why she was getting fired. I feel like this scene to me
I
came
know.
like completely out of nowhere. I was like, wait, what? Why?
well, it
why
should
is
have
this-
come after her thing about the book. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I
Right.
think to me, for some reason, I like had no idea what she
well,
was
I think because what had happened was actually not that long ago before she was in the classroom and she told her students like, okay, I cannot teach you this book. So we're moving on. However, the library does now have X amount of copies of the previous book
Mhm.
if anyone wanted to go read it. So maybe the fact that like she still thought it.
Yeah, I think it
Yes.
was just defiance against
Right.
the
Non-conformity, you mean?
Yes, of course.
against the rules they were trying to place on her.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But it's
that
this
makes sense.
beautiful scene where she goes outside and she just screams fuck at the top of her lungs.
Mhm.
And then it pans and Sharita's just sitting there on a bench
there.
staring at her.
But before she goes out and screams, as she's like packing up her stuff to go, Donnie does walk into the room,
Mhm.
and she had written on the board the word cellar door. And he's like, what is cellar door? And she says that it's in some book or poem or something, and she just says that somebody had said that that's the prettiest combination of sounds in the English language is cellar door.
Cellar door.
And I was like, you're just trying to be too deep right there.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
sure.
this whole movie.
hardcore.
It's like the entire movie.
Cellar door.
But then it gets found out by everyone. Where are they when they find out? Like, where's Miss Farmer? Would she?
Oh, just in the school.
Yeah, that's right. She's just in the school.
Mm-hmm.
And it's her and I think like the principal and like one other person. And like, is this even when they had found out that Sparkle Motion had been selected?
They had just found that out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Sparkle Motion gets invited to LA because they were so good at their
What was it? They were on Star Search?
Star Search? Yeah. Yeah, so they're all like celebrating and someone just walks up to them with the newspaper. Just like, here you go.
Crushes her dreams.
Yeah, and she just dies inside.
Oh,
like,
my God.
Mm-hmm. Because she just is so hot for Swayze's character. Like, you can tell she's like, you know, supposed to be like so religious and moral, but you can tell if he gave her the slightest sign of yes, she would be all over him.
Oh, 100%. Well, and this isn't enough, you know, to convince her.
No.
Because now she has a new purpose.
Yes.
Because I don't, maybe I'm jumping ahead.
No, not that far.
Now we get,
I think this is
we get her knocking on Donnie Darko's, the Darko's home.
Because this is her infamous quote.
Yes. Because she knocks to ask Rose Darko to please go with the girls, go with Sparkle Motion, because she has to stay behind to defend Patrick Swayze's character, because clearly he would never do any of this.
These false allegations.
I love her character so much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she needs the mom to go.
And she's like, believe me, you are the last person I want to ask.
She's so underhanded. I have no choice. Trust me.
You are literally, I'm at the bottom of my list.
And the mom is kind of like, no. And we know because like she probably doesn't want to leave Donnie. Like, and that's when the mom is like, I'm beginning to doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion. And just the way she says it, like it's the most egregious thing that could happen to her. Like
how could you not commit to Sparkle Motion?
How could you not?
But she does, and she's like, okay, I'll chaperone the girls to LA. So we're like approaching Halloween now.
Yeah, we see, I think we see another scene where, so this is all kind of happening around 10:26. We see a scene where, again, people are making fun of Sharita, but, or they had made fun of her like at the talent show. Yes. So Donnie goes up to her to be like, things will get better. I promise you. And he's trying to be sweet.
Like grabs her.
Yeah, he like
things will get better.
Grabs her and he's trying to like just be like, I see you. Things are going to get better for you. But it freaks her out.
Well, yeah.
Because you know what I always thought though? It freaks her out that someone is seeing her.
Exactly.
Not what it's not that Donnie approached her. It's that like another person is seeing her for who she is that freaks her out.
And not just any old person. It's the person she has the crush on, because then she drops her books and she's like written all these like hearts around Donnie. Like it's her crush came up to her. So of course she like
the only person that's ever shown kindness to her. Like he always told the bullies to leave her alone. Like
so she runs away.
Yeah.
And we should also say that somewhere in here, he tried to go to Grandma Death's and they weren't able to like get her to come to the door. They saw her like on the balcony. And that's when he was like, oh, we need to write to her. And he's like, so I will write her a letter. That's what I'll do. So we've got all this happening. We're setting the stage.
Yeah, it's all,
There's also then one more therapy session we see where the therapist is kind of confronting Donnie, where he's talking about like the world's going to end and or should end or something like that. And the psychiatrist says, you know, if the world ends, the only thing that will be there at the end is you and Frank. Like, so she's kind of just like telling him, like, if you choose to not live in this world with other people and like go down your path of poor mental health and, you know, madness, for lack of a better term, like, it's only going to be you and Frank.
Right.
So you got to choose to try to fight.
And Donnie tells her what he's done, like the crimes that he's committed. He like is very just open about it and tells her. So a lot happening.
Yeah.
Then it's 10:29. And I did notice. So there's a scene where they're like in the family's kitchen. Did either of you notice? It's like morning time on the 29th of October, and it's like a pumpkin or something. It's in their kitchen and it looks like Frank.
No, I didn't.
It's like a pumpkin or something in their kitchen.
No. Okay, it is, because there's the scene of him and Maggie Gyllenhaal, his sister, and they're carving pumpkins.
Yeah. So he made the one look like Frank?
Well, yeah, he did. So
I
they
totally
were
didn't catch
carving
that.
pumpkins and they were talking. And, you know, she was kind of asking, like, how are you? Like, and he was like, I'm crazy. Like, but he carved this pumpkin and it looked exactly like Frank, and he shows it to her and she's like, wow, that's really messed up and dark, man. Like, what the fuck is that?
I wonder if that's in the extended one, because I
wonder if it is.
I did not see that.
Oh, maybe it is.
Yeah, maybe it's in the extent, because I don't really remember that either.
Oh, okay, so that would make sense.
Okay.
Why there's then a pumpkin of Frank.
Oh, see, now that I think could have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I didn't watch it, but from what I like saw online, I think the director's cut is like it explains a lot more.
Okay,
like,
that's what I
there's just more explanation.
More gaps are
filled. More gaps.
That makes sense. But yeah, so she they're both very smart. Both Donnie and his sister.
Yes.
They make it.
He's trying to get into Harvard.
Known that they're very smart. And she got accepted.
Yep.
So she got accepted, but, you know, I guess both parents are out of town.
Yeah, because I think the mom had said, like, oh, well, her husband was already going to be out of town, so it's a tough weekend.
Yeah, there had been a very loose thing about how his dad travels for work a lot.
Yeah.
Like early on. Yeah.
So they do what any kids in high school would do when their parents are gone and they have something to celebrate. They decide to throw a party.
And of course, we've got the classic beginning of her saying, okay, but not too many people.
Yes.
Right. You have to say that.
Yep. Cut to
a ton of people.
Cut to a big party where there is a scene where Donnie is offering... Oh, his friends come to the door and they're like, we brought beer. And they're like, we brought a 6-pack. And he's like, well, we have a keg. And they say, you know, keg beer is for lady parts.
It's for lady parts.
I mean, we've already said fuck. I think at this point,
I know. Okay,
so we got to be explicit.
Just trying to be appropriate.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't call people
you
that.
You don't like that word.
They say keg beer is for pussies. And so we should talk about what we're sipping on.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we haven't talked about it.
Yeah. I was waiting until we got to this part of the movie.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
So, keg beer.
Of course.
Surprise.
Surprise.
Big reveal.
Now, assuming you don't live in, you know, Utah, where you don't have access to such a thing.
Right.
Enjoy yourself some keg beer.
Yeah.
Oh, how nostalgic though, because like, when was the last time you went to a party with a keg beer?
Should we get one for the next Halloween party?
I think we should.
Can't you technically get one?
Yes.
You just have to.
Yeah, you just have to like order
something,
it
right? Yeah, it's just like a little bit. There's just more of a process.
You can't just go buy it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes. Have either of you ever done a keg stand?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you guys want to, Spooky Sippers? Would you like to know a little bit of Brianna's trauma and her backstory?
Just a little bit.
So, when Brianna was 15, she went and lived. Well, no, this wasn't. This was a visit. She went and visited her sister Laura. Oh, you know what? Because I think I was 14 because you were in the dorms.
Oh God.
This was before I came to live with you, so I was 14.
But it was the springtime, so maybe you were 15.
I think it was 14. But
14 and a half.
Because Laura still lived in the dorms at this point. Like, you hadn't moved out. So I went to go visit Laura, and
there was a party. We were the party room in the dorms. Like,
And
my-
your friends taught me how to do a cake stand. So I did. I have photos of it, in fact, that I took on a disposable camera.
You're
Oh
welcome.
my gosh.
So that was one of my wild moments. And that
Oh
was
my
where I
gosh.
learned.
Mhm.
And a beer pong. Or no, a beer.
A beer bong. I was going to say, I
Yes,
feel like
beer
that's where
bong.
you did a beer
A
bong.
beer
'Cause I don't
bong.
know that we would have had a keg in the dorms.
I feel like we did. Maybe that was a different party.
That was
Maybe
probably a
this-
different party.
Yeah, maybe this was the beer bong.
This was the beer bong for sure.
Oh, the good old days. Like, why?
You were wearing your cute little light blue sweatshirt. I remember.
Yep, I was in my little Abercrombie jeans that I
Oh my gosh.
had.
Yeah, wild times. But
What
Anyway.
a weird.
I did not have access to a keg, but I was trying to recreate the vibe. So
Mhm.
I'm sipping my wine. I'm sipping my red wine blend from a solo cup, which
Beautiful.
then I went and pulled up a clip of the movie because I thought, I don't remember noticing the cups they were drinking from at the party.
Actually,
You would
yeah.
assume solo.
You would assume red party cups, right?
Yeah.
They were drinking from, party solo cups, blue solo cups.
Okay, so I have to go get blue solo
Okay.
cups.
Yes.
Is what I'm hearing.
Okay.
Yes, that is what you have to do.
And
pictures.
I won't make promises, but guys, we do know someone with access to a keg. So
Love
we are
it.
trying for the pictures.
And if they want to teach you how to do a keg stand, you could include a video
for
of that.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. You could put little ghosty on the keg.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Make
for
Ghosty
sure,
do a keg stand at least.
No, don't get her wet. I'll have to remake her.
That's true. That's true.
I don't think she's machine washable.
No, we'll be okay. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Put a raincoat on her.
Little tiny raincoat.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
This
so
is
we're
why our
at the
episodes are
party.
so long because we digress like
I
crazy.
know.
Okay.
So
yeah, we
but
do.
you know what? That's why it's interesting. Nobody's listening to this
The movie.
show to know about the movie.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
They're here for the anecdotes.
Yeah,
Yes.
hopefully you like the movie and also like the vibe. This is
The
more
light
just-
comedy show
Yeah.
that is Spooky Sips.
Yes.
Yeah, we do
But we're
this
at
for
the
us,
party.
really.
I know. It's for no one else.
No, honestly, like I think that's why we're always so surprised when like we get like a video that gets a lot of traction or a lot of listens or because
Or
we're
like
like
someone
wait,
we don't know
who
asks
listened to this?
something.
someone other than the three of us listens to this.
Yeah.
Like,
We love it though, sippers. So when you do it, just keep it up because it makes us
Yes.
very happy.
No,
you might be our biggest fans, but we're your biggest fans.
Yeah, I don't think you
Exactly.
understand the joy that we get
So,
from it. Like
yes.
it's yeah.
It's very exciting.
Okay, so we're at the party.
Mm-hmm.
Gretchen is upset
Yes.
Yeah,
because her mom left.
Yeah.
Which, like, okay, just
And there's
leaving
no
your
note.
child. Mm-hmm.
And at first, when she's talking about it, you get the vibe that like her mom abandoned her.
Mm-hmm.
But then after she talks to Donnie, you're like, oh no, like she's worried that like her dad got her or someone else came. Like she's worried that her mom is being killed and died.
Is taken. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day. then the
The
30th.
next day.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Oh well, they
yeah.
get down and dirty.
oh yes. Sorry, forgot about that part. They go and they have a romantic scene.
She's like, I'm afraid my mom has been killed. And he's like,
Yeah.
he's like,
they're-
take me, baby.
Their romantic moments come at very strange, like being bullied in
A lot
the
of
classroom.
trauma
It's like, let's
bonding.
kiss.
Yes, I was going to say
trauma bonding.
those are
My
some
mom is
interesting,
missing.
interesting trauma responses
Yeah.
that maybe they should both continue to go to some more therapy for.
Yes. Yes.
So
But it's not the
then-
next day. We're still at the party because there's all the shit that goes down with.
Yeah. Why did I think all of this happens the night of the party? Is it the
I
next
thought
day?
it did.
maybe it's because that happened maybe earlier on in the day, but at some point then so that was on 10:30 or 10:29 is when the party starts, and then it's
Okay.
10:30.
Okay.
Okay, but I think it's like
It's still the same
10:30
night.
at midnight.
It's
Like,
just
the
later at
same
night.
night.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
sorry.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, so it's not the next day.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same night.
Like the night.
So-
okay.
Donnie's freaking out. And so they go to find Grandma Death because he's freaking out because the countdown's about to be out. So
Yes.
that's why he's freaking
Yeah.
out.
But also, we should say
Mhm.
that while the party has been happening, the therapist has been leaving messages on the machine being like, you need to call me immediately. Donnie is in like imminent danger. Something is wrong. He's not okay.
Mhm.
And the mom and the daughter are on the flight. They're like, okay,
The
we're
red
gonna
eye.
be flying out. So they're on the red eye.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's happening in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yes, then they go to see Grandma Death.
Because like he's basically trying to figure out how can I engage in time travel before the time runs out, before like the world ends, because I know it's going to end in like an hour or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, his sister at the party was like calling out and looking for her boyfriend Frank, who hadn't shown up yet.
Mm-hmm.
So then they find this cellar door. As they're like in the area where they're looking for Grandma Death, they find a cellar door. And when they go into the cellar door, there's some friggin' bullies. They're in it, and they kind of like start attacking them, like beating them up.
Yeah, it's weird.
These
Like
bullies, yeah. And so
they
then
have like hosiery around their faces.
I think they're like trying to rob the cellar or like burgle
because earlier we had learned that she had a big stockpile of gemstones that were worth a lot of money. So people used to try to rob Grandma Death.
Yeah.
Because she had this big stockpile and collection, because she had also like been into gems in her home. So like people had tried to rob her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like the dad tells that story at some point.
Yeah. So then they're like trying to run away. The kids that were burgling, or with the kids with the, hosiery on their face.
The bullies. Right.
The bullies. And as they try to run away, they had like pushed Gretchen down or something.
Yes.
Because they had been really like aggressive. So they had like had his like arm around her neck, and he shoved her down. So she like couldn't breathe.
For a
She's
second.
laying in the ground trying to catch her breath again.
And so then one's trying to like
out.
get out of there and runs her over.
Because now we see this car come. It's like driving like crazy.
Yeah.
And it runs Gretchen over.
And the way they show it, like it's like, oh, that's bad.
Oh, like you
for
see
sure.
her being run over. It's wild.
Yeah, like it's
And Donnie like runs to her.
Oh, wait. The reason why they ran her over is because they were driving crazy, but then they had to swerve because all of a sudden Grandma Death is in their highlights.
Oh, right.
Or
that's what it is.
Highlights.
Yes.
Their headlights.
That
was weird. So Grandma Death,
they were avoiding her,
is what made them swerve even harder, and then they ran over Gretchen.
So this clown comes out of the passenger side, like freaking out.
Yeah.
And then someone comes out of the driver's side and is like, why were you laying in the road? Like, what were you doing?
Yeah.
And we see that it's Frank.
Yep. This man in a bunny suit is the one that was the driver.
Did he have his head on?
No, he
was holding it.
Yeah.
And
holding the mask.
It's the guy that we saw talking to him in the movie theater. Like,
yeah.
And Donnie, in a fit of rage and heat in the moment, shoots Frank in the eye.
I mean, it's so calm. He just pulls it out of his pocket and shoots him.
Yeah.
Like, it's very... And then again, another moment of teen angst, but like then, the clown is like terrified.
I mean,
Donnie's like pointing the gun at him, but he's like, go, like run away. He's like,
leave.
go. He's like, tell your parents that everything is going to be okay.
Yeah, that was weird.
Which like was a sad moment, because you're like, Donnie's still like a kid, like a young, so it's like this moment of trying to reconcile what he just did with his innocence. And
and then there's a portal in the sky above the house that opens up.
Yep. And Donnie knows what he has to do.
Yep. So
it's cool how this plays out, because like it plays out with them all waking up first.
Well, and also, but before like they wake up, So as the portal is opening up, it causes like a mass disturbance in the sky, which then the mom and the sister are in the plane that like, because it's near the portal, it starts to like go down and like fall apart. So the part of the plane that ends up being the thing that we saw at the beginning of the movie is technically the mom and sister's plane.
Because it was an important thing that the government would not release that they had found the plane. Like nobody knew what happened to the plane that lost its jet. There was no information released about it. So now you're in this weird moment where you're like, okay, but that's their plane.
How does that work?
Timeline doesn't work. But then you're like, time is meaningless because it's a continuum.
Time
so
is meaningless.
Nothing is real.
Yes.
And
so
then they all
they're all waking up.
And it's this really cool, quiet scene where you see each character, where everything that's just happened has been a dream to them. And they're waking up having watched what just happened. So like the parents wake up terrified and Patrick Swayze wakes up crying because of all the shame of what he just watched happen. Like they all wake up to this like realization of
what could have been,
the teachers and
and of course it's set to the music of the Flaming Lips Mad World song, which is just so perfect.
I mean, that was a 10 out of 10 song.
Oh, so such a good song.
It was absolute banger to end it on.
Yes.
Now wait, is it Flaming Lips?
No.
Oh,
because
sorry.
I was gonna say
it's a cover.
It's a Tears for Fears cover, but it isn't Tears for Fears.
Wait,
it's just some random guy that like, well, he's not random, but they couldn't get the rights to Tears for Fears. So this other musician that has done a ton of stuff, it's him singing it as a cover.
Oh gosh,
I know this because it was really important to Philip that we figured out.
Okay, you guys, cut that
what
part
this song
out.
was.
I don't know why I said it was.
Well, Tears for Fears did approve it though, because you can't use the song. Yes. Without even if it's a cover, you still need approval.
Right, but they didn't get their rendition of
their version
because I think it was like too expensive and I don't know. So it's another. I don't remember his name. It's like
Gary Jules.
Gary Jules.
Well, it was a better version.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful version of this song because it's just melancholy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know where that band title came from in my mind, but
I mean, honestly, are they different?
They are. Very different.
Like a little bit,
like super different, actually. I don't know.
And I remember watching this movie for the first time because I was like, okay, this is the ending. Like it was just a dream. It's not the ending.
No.
Because the dead end really falls.
Because Donnie goes home.
Donnie goes home.
Yeah, like Donnie. It's like Donnie wakes up and goes home and gets in bed. And then all of a sudden we're seeing that scene where the daughter comes home and falls on the door. The dad's sleeping, you know, and it's the exact same scene, but this time Donnie is in bed.
Yep.
But the jet engine still falls on him.
Yep. And it gets him.
There we go.
And that's it.
Yeah. And then we've got the next or the morning of.
Yeah, we get like the reaction.
They're kind of like they're moving the jet out, the ambulance is there, and the parents are outside just kind of like shell shocked. And Gretchen rides her bike by. And there's a little boy standing out front and she's like, what happened? Yeah, I killed my neighbor.
Yeah.
And she's like, wow, what was his name? And he's like, Donnie Darko. Yeah. And then we've got this long stare between the mom and the daughter, or not the daughter, the Gretchen. And like the mom just has this look on her face that is hard to like explain. But part of me almost was like, did the mom remember everything that happened in the other universe?
I don't know.
I feel like it came off as just that, like, I don't know, shock. right? Like it's
It kind of
you
to
get
me
a lot
seems
of
like
emotion.
almost, yeah, like a oh, you could have been with my son or something. Like I don't know, like I know that's a big leap, but
no, but it
feels
really is like she has this
yeah.
because like she has a connection with Gretchen.
Yeah.
Like
Whatever it is, the actress crushed it. Because like it's like, yeah, she gave this look that it's like we can all take 1 million assumptions from.
yes,
You know?
and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. They do this little like awkward
Yeah, they all wave.
wave.
Yeah,
They
this
all
wave.
do like a little wave. And that's it.
That's it. There we go.
What a movie.
What a movie.
Yeah.
Well, like I knew this one would take us longer to go through because like it's very convoluted. Like there's a lot
Yeah.
of layers happening and it's hard to like
especially when two of us just like completely forget the whole plot.
absolutely
Yeah.
no memory of the film.
I feel like that's why my brain isn't working toward the end because
you had to take over a little.
To do the whole damn movie.
It's all right. We've done it for you when you've fallen out of your chair. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know.
We all have our episodes, okay?
Yeah. All right, it's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I feel like you could go anywhere, Laura.
You really could.
With the psych segment for this one.
Mm-hmm.
So just remember, she is not a real doctor. And none of this was probably real because time isn't real. And we aren't real. And nothing is real. So take us away, baby.
Oh man. So this one, as I was watching it and at the end I thought, I have my work cut out for me.
Yeah.
Donnie Darko. It's like all of it. But a lot of it we've kind of talked about before. Like, okay, I feel even a non-psychologist would watch this and think, okay, well, clearly he's got hallucinations, delusions. Maybe it's, bipolar disorder. Maybe it's schizophrenia. Maybe it's dissociative identity disorder. I feel like he's got elements of all of it.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of go back to the days of the classic Spooky Sips and give some diagnoses.
I feel like that's perfect for this
Donnie
one.
Darko.
We kind of have to.
Yeah.
Can I just make a quick note that I used to think up until very recently that the phrase "my work is cut out for me," I thought that meant it's easier. Because I thought that meant like someone went and cut your work out for you so you didn't have to.
Like kindergarten work of like cutting out shapes from.
Yeah.
Yes, like your work is cut out for you. Like someone already did it for you.
Yeah, like someone already set it up for you.
Yes, that's what I thought that phrase meant. Because like, how does it make sense otherwise?
Honestly, that's
like, tell me how the phrase
makes
sense
more
otherwise.
sense.
It doesn't.
No, yeah, your interpretation makes more sense. Like it's like, yeah, when you think of cutouts, it's like, oh, it's
they already did it for
you. You have a template. You have something to go off of. You have,
Yeah, I honestly could not tell you the explanation for that. Something to ponder.
I will be making a plea. I don't know why that's the word that came to me. A plea for that phrase to be adjusted.
Let's just all use it differently now.
Yeah.
We'll start it here first.
So here's a few potential diagnoses that we could talk about, like what they are. And then as a podcast team, we can rule some out and then go with the one that we think is best.
Okay.
So the first one that came to my mind, which Donnie is pretty young for this, but he's not totally out of the age realm for paranoid type of schizophrenia. So the big thing with this is both the auditory and the visual hallucinations. Right. So Donnie is both hearing things that are not there that others cannot hear and seeing things that others cannot see. He also has like delusions of kind of, the world is ending or I have this countdown.
Like questioning reality.
Yeah, like these are the things that I have to do. Like I have to save the world. Also just his erratic behavior. So the sleep disturbances that he's having and the sleepwalking that he does. We've talked a lot about like both like sleepwalking and delusions and hallucinations, but they're really prominent in this movie.
Yeah.
So he also then is engaging in some really risky behavior, like flooding the school and engaging in confrontations to Patrick Swayze in front of all these people. Like he's kind of
and
like
arson.
Yes.
Yes.
Full-fledged arson.
Yes.
Yes. And so it's like he doesn't have this inhibition. So in addition to all of these, paranoia that he's feeling and all this disorganized thinking, convincing that he needs to, stop time, he also is not controlling his behavior anymore. He's just very disinhibited.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be one. Usually 16, I think, is kind of the low end of the age range for being diagnosed with schizophrenia. It's not something that's diagnosed younger than that typically, but that could be a really good one to go with because he is right in that age where that's why his previous just mental health concerns that were a little bit more easier to manage, those were the precursors to it. But now that he's this age, it's full on turned into the paranoid type of schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
So he could also have dissociative disorder. So that, because he really does, he goes into these trances, for lack of a better term, where he is not himself. He's just kind of this robot version of him. So he's not in his own brain anymore at those points in time. And he'll lose track of time, wake up in different places. And maybe the hallucinations are part of just that period of dissociation that he's going through. And that could be brought about by stressors in his family, social struggles that he's having. So that could be an option. Another theory is bipolar disorder, bipolar 1 disorder with psychotic features. The support for this could be that his mood does fluctuate really rapidly. He'll go from being fine to then all of a sudden being super intensely mad and then crying and then happy. And then his mood fluctuates pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That could also explain for some of his impulsive behaviors and his risk taking. Like we talked about, confronting, people, having, vandalizing things. So that could be one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those are the only ones that I think I'm narrowing it down to that he could have. So of the three of those, which ones do we want to rule out? Which ones do we think, which one is not a good fit? I think the bipolar is not a good fit.
Yeah, I don't think bipolar is a good fit. I don't think that's quite it.
Because bipolar, the rapid, I forget exactly the term that it's used, rapid cycling bipolar, that's not that common. And I don't think that's exactly what's happening with him. I think more, and we talked about this before, a huge symptom that can happen with younger people that have mental health problems is irritability. So I don't think it's that his mood is fluctuating like bipolar cycling. I think it's just that he's irritable and doesn't know how to quite express his emotions.
Being a teenager.
Right. He's being a teenager.
Yeah.
So now it's either dissociative disorder with psychotic features or paranoid type schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the therapist in the movie said it was schizophrenia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think seems fitting.
That's what I would go with too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what I think is happening with him. And it's kind of interesting to think about too, because with the whole time travel thing, maybe it didn't even happen.
Yeah,
maybe him going back to save his whole family and be in the bed when the jet plane fell. That could have been a delusion. Maybe that never happened.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's hard to know because for him, the delusions and hallucinations are equally as real as something that everyone else could agree is happening.
Yeah. I mean, when the main character is the one having these delusions, it's we have to question
reality.
What happened, right? It's we're seeing it from his perspective, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So I would almost say, and I know we go back and forth, with is it really a ghost or is it, the mental illness? I think from my perspective, the time travel never happened.
Agreed.
So I think Donnie maybe died at the end of the movie in a different way that he never accepted into his own brain, so we don't see.
Oh, okay.
Part of me almost wondered, like, is this all a metaphor for suicide? Because, like, was he trying to rationalize
Right.
the way that he was the hero, that like he believed this was his destiny, but he needed to like justify it to all the people in his life. So I was like, is it like an allegory? Like,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I think this is definitely one of those movies where you can apply a lot of different things to it. Honestly, you could probably argue it's about like 100 different things.
100.
And I think because of the way that the movie is designed, it's like you'd probably be right. Like I think it can adapt to mean a lot of different things because of the way they made it.
Yeah. And I think it's actually really cool the way they do that, where you're going to interpret it what you think and what you think it means. Is it about just the like existentialism of teenagers, or is it about, you know, true mental illness, or is it about time travel?
Right. Yeah. I like when movies can do that.
Oh, for sure.
So that's the psych diagnosis part. And then I kind of wanted this to be more of a conversation. I figured we'd be talking for so long about Donnie Darko. I shouldn't plan too much because I figured this was going to be a long conversation. Right. However, then it got me thinking, I feel like this is asking the question, is there this like supernatural thing that is happening? Or is it mental illness? And then I thought, what are some other examples of like times in history or cases where humans, not knowing what mental illness is, they explain it away as something like supernatural?
Like the Twilight Zone.
I found a few examples, which I thought were kind of cool.
Like the entire basis of the Twilight Zone. Probably.
Yes.
So
I feel like all old medicine is like, hey, there's ghosts in your blood. Here's some meth, you know?
Exactly. Demonic possession. That is the first thing that came up. So before we used to know, like, you know, what mental illness was, of course, if someone is seeing something that's not there or hearing something, and then they're paranoid and then they're irritable, they have this, you know, these swings of mood and erratic behavior. Of course, that's the devil.
I mean, sometimes it probably was.
There's no other word for it. Yeah.
Ghosts.
So then, of course, you got to do exorcisms instead of, you know,
of course,
mood stabilizing drugs and therapy, things like that.
Like hysteria in women.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Another example could be like divine punishment or curse. So rather than it just being that someone, you know, is possessed, it could be that they had this intervening or this kind of like decision put upon them by a god or a devil because of something they did. So like I was, you know, I lusted after my boss or something. So therefore, or I committed adultery. So therefore I'm being punished or cursed or something like that. So that's all kind of like a little bit more religious.
Yeah.
But there's another one that I thought was cool was this lunar influence, aka lunacy, which I never put together, like lunacy, loon, moon.
I did because I've read Harry Potter.
Oh my gosh.
You know.
Okay.
That's a central storyline later on.
I've read a little of Harry Potter. I've read
the
like
werewolf and
first book and a half or something.
You know.
Yeah. But that's just like saying, okay, someone's acting crazy. It's the moon that's doing it. Like the moon is influencing what's happening to this person.
I wish.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I was like, oh, I never even really put that together, that's where lunatic comes from. There's also some things of like fairies and like spirits. And this was something that was really cool. I went to Iceland last year. My husband and I went to Iceland, and they talked about like fairies are everywhere, and they would do things to like influence people to make certain decisions or to like curse people, or so you had to like talk to the fairies and like set snacks out for the fairies and be nice to them, or else they were going to give you like bad luck and stuff.
Oh,
So fairies could be a cause.
Okay.
It's so interesting. Like when you have no explanation, you just come up with like what a little magical bug that flies
You have
around.
to find something.
And I love that, you know?
Yeah. But there's also things like the cosmos are doing it, and that could be an explanation.
My star sign.
Or even like past life, like karma.
Ooh,
Maybe the reason why you're having problems now is because in a prior life you killed a bunny.
Right.
And now this bunny is coming back to haunt you.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I just thought it was kind of interesting to think about, like, that's a pretty common thing actually, is like, could it be this supernatural thing? Or could it just be that he imagined it all?
Yeah.
Because he stopped taking his meds.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, and now, so speaking of his meds, when I was just looking at like, facts and stuff about the movie, I was looking at stuff about the director's cut. So like, Brianna, I don't know if you remember this, because this was not in the theatrical cut, but it was in the director's cut. There's a scene where Donnie tells Dr. Thurman like that he wants to stop taking his medication. He's like, I don't want to do it anymore. And she says, you can go ahead and stop. They're placebos anyway.
Yes.
So that was cut from the theatrical, but it was in the director's cut.
Because I remember it, like, it was the kind of thing where, again, this was just kind of on in the background for me. But when that came up, I was like, wait, what? And I like rewound it.
Yeah. This was only in the director's cut.
Interesting.
So apparently even had he taken the medication.
Which is like, what's the motive there? Like,
right?
Why would she have been doing that?
Maybe like, she believed him.
Right. Like, did she believe him? Because like, otherwise I don't understand why she would have done that. So maybe she believed he was right.
Well, especially then later on when she's very concerned for his safety, and it's like he is a risk right now to himself and others.
Because maybe she didn't know he would go as far as like sacrificing himself.
Yeah.
Which is what he viewed it as that he did.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, kind of a big thing to change in the director's cut. Like it's,
because it throws a whole nother perspective.
It does, yeah. Like it's not like it changes like the story completely, but it does. It adds another layer. It
makes you question that dynamic. Like, what's been going on this entire time then?
Especially telling the parents that they need to up the dosage.
Exactly.
So it's like, wait, then why are you even doing that if you're giving him placebos at
Ooh.
Maybe they should have kept it in the theatrical, make us question it a bit more.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the only psych I prepared. I know this was a big psych heavy movie, but I feel like everyone's going to take their own psych interpretation away from it.
No, I think it was fantastic.
So,
because there really is, and I like that it is open to interpretation. Like, it can mean what you wanted it to mean. Just like in the movie.
Yes. Yep. Okay, well, I can go over some fun facts. Yeah, I kind of assumed this would be a longer episode, so I'll jump around to the more fun facts.
I know, I'm excited to hear about some fun facts, just because it's such a classic movie.
Yeah. So the director was also the writer. So Richard Kelly wrote and directed it. And he wrote it over the course of 28 days, which is how long it takes the movie. So he like really felt like he was just like writing it out. Like it was just kind of, he did say like
crazy.
It was something he had kind of had in his mind for a very, very long time. And he had like just graduated film school. So it was like, okay, I have to like write a movie. And like, I think this was like a story he had been thinking about for a very, very long time, but he sat down to actually write it over the course of 28 days.
Okay.
And then the filming also took 28 days.
Oh my gosh.
So they really committed to this.
That's
this
amazing.
1 month.
Because that's really intense.
Yeah.
Like for both of those things to happen in that time. Wow. This is only a fun fact to me, but I'm elderly, so I needed the subtitles on. And my favorite one that came up multiple times, it was usually when the portal was happening, like the chest thing, but not always. But it just called it atmospheric whooshing.
Ooh.
I was like, wow,
Atmospheric
that's
movie.
fantastic.
That's amazing. That's a great way to describe it. I love it.
Honestly, yeah, that's a good description of it. Okay, some other people who were considered for the role of Donnie Darko were one was Vince Vaughn, and he was
No.
like, "I'm not a teenager, so no."
Okay.
Even when he was, no.
Yeah. And then another one was Mark Wahlberg, but he said he would only play the part if they allowed him to play it with a lisp.
What? Why?
I don't know.
What the? Okay, interesting.
I think Mark Wahlberg would have been a weird, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe.
No, he would have been weird. I
don't
feel
know,
like Mark Wahlberg, like he's always the like, oh, he was almost cast as so many people. Like
Okay,
I know
I
he was almost in like Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Which like that's so funny.
I know I
Imagine-
keep bringing up other movies, but have you ever seen I Heart Huckabees?
Oh, maybe that sounds
Okay.
really familiar.
If you had to ask
It's a
me when
good
I was like
movie.
just walking down the street, what's your favorite movie? It would be I Heart Huckabees.
Mm-hmm.
But Mark Wahlberg's character is like, to me, the quintessential Mark Wahlberg. Like, if you want to know who I view him as an actor, it's him in that role.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has a very like,
Eclectic.
yeah, like he wouldn't have been creepy enough. He's too kind of like pretty boy, but he can be funny and he can be dark.
Yeah.
In
He's like
different movies.
mildly dopey. Like, not
A
like,
little
I don't know.
dopey. That's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
He's got like a,
I don't think he would have been as good
No.
in it.
No.
And then one other actor that was considered for Donnie was Jason Schwartzman. And I think he may have even been cast or like one of the first choices, but he dropped out because of scheduling.
oh, okay.
I'm trying
And
to
that's
think
the
of who
other
that
guy
is.
from I Heart Huckabees.
That's fun.
Jason.
And then for the role of his mom, wait, no, hold on. Wait, is Samantha the mom or the sister?
Sister.
The
Samantha's-
sister.
Yeah.
Okay, for the sister, instead of Maggie Gyllenhaal, they were considering Mara Wilson,
Oh, okay.
but she turned it down.
Okay. Okay.
So
I mean, it's kind of nice that they're actually brother and sister. So
yeah. And I
Like,
think that
it's-
was kind of like, oh,
I
well,
like
I don't know,
it.
we can get actual siblings. So
like, that's kind of cool.
yeah. Okay, another fun fact is that a lot of actually, I think all of the art and like photography and stuff that is seen in the movie, like in the house, in the background and stuff, a lot of it was created by either the director, his family, or his friends.
Oh, cool.
That's
So he like
cool.
used
like
a
that-
lot of the people around him.
That
to make
giant
stuff.
painting of Patrick Swayze was like he did it or something.
I hope so.
Oh, that's kind of cool though. Like,
I think
what
at
a-
least the stuff that was in like the Darko house.
right. Like, what a
Mhm.
cool
Was his.
tribute to
Yeah.
people in your life. Like,
Mhm.
they'll have
Yeah.
that forever.
Yeah,
That's
so it's
awesome.
like there's like, you know, a picture of like some rural like farm or something, and like that was his
Ooh.
uncle that took it. And like I
That's
think
so
a lot of the
cool.
like the black and white art was done by like the director himself.
Mhm.
Like but like that's just so fun, like little details to
Like, why not? Honestly,
Right?
like, I like that.
yeah, it's like it's background art. Just
Right. And
do
it's
it with your
meaningful to
friends.
them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make a difference set wise. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
The movie did go through like I think the rights got sold off in 2016, and the new studio decided to do like a restoration of it. So, and I think the restoration they tweaked like visually, making it look better. Like I think they may have even gotten it to like 4K. So I
Okay.
think you can get like a pretty decent quality of it. But I think they also tweaked some of the sounds. I don't know if it was like
have to watch it originally.
drastic, but like there are definitely some changes to the sound and the movie. And then they also did like I think that's when they made the director's cut actually
Okay.
as well. So they did the director's cut, and I think if you get the DVD, there's like even more commentary. So
Mhm.
if you're a fan, they gave a lot to you
Okay.
in like
okay.
2016. Okay. For in the script originally, they didn't have the kids going to a private school. But then when they found this actual school that they were going to film at, it was a private school already. So then it was like, oh, well, maybe we could consider this as an option. And then the costume designer went to the director and said, like, hey, so like we could save so much money if they wore uniforms.
Yeah.
Because I'm having to dress all these kids in 80s clothes, and that's going to be so much work. What if we just had them all wear uniforms?
Perfect.
And that's what the director said. He's like, and honestly, it kind of works with the movie because it's like, oh, like conforming.
Exactly. Like that's the entire like overriding theme. So it's kind of cool that they go to a private school and they're still facing this. Like,
Yep.
No, I think it added to it. And plus they saved money. So good for them. So the director really wanted Catherine Ross, who plays the therapist in the movie. He like really wanted her, but she like, I think had like maybe semi-retired. Like she wasn't really making movies. Like she kind of had like put it behind. So he drove to her house to like personally ask her. And, like,
oh my gosh.
have her read it to be like, no, can you be in my movie?
I mean, that's like, how can you turn that down?
Right? So I think she was all for it. She was like,
I'd be like, a stalker, go away.
Well, I mean, he was actually making a movie, you know, like
he wasn't just like a guy from the street.
Hello, you know? Catherine. People have asked about sequels, and so I'm getting most of my things from like a Q&A that I saw in from 2017. He did say people ask about sequels, but he does not own any rights to anything with this movie because it was the first movie he made. He was 24 years old, so he gave up like all rights,
and he literally dies at the end of the movie. Like what? The movie is called Donnie Darko. Like,
I mean, I'm sure someone could have come up with some sort of horrible spinoff, but I think he said he tries really hard to protect it. Like, I don't think he wants a sequel, but that just sucks that it's like he made such a good movie. I don't think he
doesn't have it.
Very many movies in like this decade.
Here's my question. This is this guy's first movie. He is a child at 24 years old. How did he make not only such a like impactful movie for its time, but get all of those stars in it?
Right?
Like, I don't understand because they were stars that were big at the time, like huge at the time.
And then people that ended up being big.
Yes. Like that blows my mind.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think part of it is luck, you know, part of it is driving to an actor's house.
Yeah, I guess so.
And, you know, I almost wonder if it's kind of like a domino effect. Like
you get one.
Once he had Patrick Swayze, Drew Barrymore, and Noah Wyle were like, hell yeah. Like, I wonder if it's kind of like once you've got one big star, it's easier to get others to sign on.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Like, hey, Patrick Swayze, I want you to be a pedophile in my movie.
Doesn't that sound fun?
Let's do it.
Okay. Again, there's so much info out there for like big fans, but if you're a big fan, there is a website for the Philosophy of Time Travel book.
Ooh, what?
So the director, like, again, while making the movie, he was trying to come up with like what would be in the book, and, you know, because it's like, you know, try to like fledge it out, like what can happen there. But it didn't really make sense to include any of that in the movie. Like, it's like, well, it doesn't add anything to the movie. So like, you know, we'll just kind of keep this. And then I was like, well, why not turn it into like a little website that people can go to and like get more info?
Yes.
So if you're a big fan, you can go to, let's see, I think it's donniedarko.org.uk-philosophy of time travel.
Okay. And
it has like more info of what would be in the book, like little excerpts from all the chapters.
Amazing.
Yeah, you get like the very first thing is like the page that we do see in the movie with like the chest with the orb coming out of it. So if you want to learn more about the philosophy of time travel,
I do. I'm going to go to that website.
I know what I'll be staying up with tonight.
Let's see. Apparently they had a very hard time getting this movie distributed. So they showed it at Sundance. That's where it premiered. And normally, I mean, the reason you do these festivals is to try to find a distributor, like find someone who's going to then, push your movie out. And it was kind of months after Sundance, they still hadn't gotten anyone to distribute it. So it kind of took a little bit of time. And they said it was like especially hard because like in 2001, like you didn't have Netflix. So like going straight to like TV or like straight to DVD or
that was a bad thing.
Like that was bad. That you were not going to get very many eyes on it. So because of that, their budget was cut from the studio. So I guess if you watched it at Sundance, the music is different because they cut their budget, so they couldn't afford as many of the songs. So they had to change some of them.
Oh.
So there were some adjustments that were made. But I think with a little bit of help, I think one was from Drew Barrymore because her production company was the one who produced the film.
Okay.
She had met Richard Kelly on the set of Charlie's Angels where he worked. And so that's how Drew Barrymore got involved.
Oh, okay.
And then they also got a little bit of help from Christopher Nolan, which like, thinking about his movies, that's so funny that like he came in.
Right.
He had also, I think, met Christopher Nolan before, and he showed him an advanced screening of Donnie Darko. Because I think he had worked on like Memento with him or something. Like there was some connection there. So he invited him to an advanced screening and also invited a distributor.
Okay.
And so there he kind of got Christopher Nolan's approval. And so that's kind of what convinced the distributor to actually distribute this movie. Was like a little nudge from Christopher Nolan.
So you knew some people. Okay.
He did. But then unfortunately, so I think it premiered like summer, right? Or Sundance. No, Sundance is in January. So premiered at Sundance, took months to find a distributor. They were finally ready to release it in October. October 2001, the trailer included the plane crash.
Oh no.
Right.
So this was right after 9/11. So they were like, okay, we'll just scrap the ads.
Yep.
We just won't show those.
Yeah.
Nope.
So
Can't do that.
they just did not get they got kind of hit with a little bit of bad luck.
Yeah, that
it just
would be rough.
Did not get very
like
good advertising.
There's nothing you can do. Like,
I mean, that's a huge part of the movie. Like, it's
yeah. And I think they had highlighted it in the trailer because, of course, it's like an exciting, like, ooh, what happened? Like, it makes sense why it was in the trailer and in the ads.
Yep.
But not exactly what people wanted to see.
No, you can't. Yeah.
So there was like a big lack of advertising for this movie. I think it got released to like very few theaters.
I mean,
so it had a bad release.
I even remember by the time we got to it, which would have been a couple of years later, like we felt like it was an indie movie. Like it wasn't a popular movie. Like we were cool for knowing it because most people didn't. Yeah.
No. So when it came out of theaters, it got a horrendous release. It pretty much was indie. Yeah. Based on like, because it's like, well, there was no advertising. It was only released in a few theaters. It had been released at Sundance. Like there was no reason why anyone, the popular culture, like would have heard of it. So it had a very bad theatrical release and it didn't really like start attracting people until it was released to DVD. That's when people started finding it. And then, you just get that word of mouth of like, ooh, I discovered this movie, like share it with people. And like, that's where it really started to take off.
Exactly.
Which I feel like happens with so many movies.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's like, it's not till we got it on like TV or like on DVD that like people really got it out there. So it did eventually get out there, but it was an unlucky start to say the least.
That's so tough.
Yeah. We talked about the music and the Tears for Fears song.
Yes.
So the studio was definitely worried that they would not be able to get the rights or afford the rights, even if they got them.
Right.
And so what the director did is they filmed the scene that they were going to use like the Tears for Fears song for. And he had the editor like put it together. So it was basically like, let's just make it and send it to Tears for Fears.
And then they'll love
fingers
it.
crossed that they'll let us do it. So that's what they did, and they did approve it. They saw
Nice.
the little clip, and they were like, "Oh, okay." And then,
Sure.
kind of like we were talking about the actors, once other bands saw, like, "Oh, well, you got them to let you use their music, and they approved it, so sure, we'll like do the same." So that kind of got the ball rolling for like
Nice.
how they were able to get such good music.
The
Also,
music
like
is
this movie was
amazing.
so good.
also the director was like, also like, you know, they were kind of ahead of the curve of wanting like 80s music. Like this was
Right.
not like a big thing people were looking for in
Right.
like
At that time.
2001.
Oh no.
Like,
because it
so
wasn't far
was a
enough
little
away yet.
easier.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a little easier to get
But even
those.
just like the background score was incredible, you know?
Yeah.
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 It was all very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I may not remember it, but what a movie.
For real.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I remember it, just not the order.
Just not the order. No, yeah, I could probably tell you what happens in the movie,
Mhm.
but not in
Not the
order.
way it
Because
plays
it's
out.
so much happens at the same time, and like
Agreed.
Right.
certain characters, it's like their story is spread out where it's like,
Mhm.
no, I'll just tell you everything that happened with them, you know?
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right. Well, here on Spooky Sips, we don't give stars, we give sips. So out of 5 sips, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to
Okay.
give 2 different ratings.
Yeah.
I was going
I'm
to
gonna
ask you
give-
to do that.
I'm going to give Brianna today is going to rate it, and then
Yes.
15-year-old Brianna is going to rate it. Okay?
Yes. Yes. I love it. I'll do the same.
So,
Yeah.
Brianna today. Oh, this is hard. Okay. I think I'm just giving it as a movie because, like we said, it's not like a
Yeah,
horror.
it's not
like a
horror, no.
scary movie.
Mhm.
Just as a general movie. Oh, this kind of hurts me to do, you guys.
Do it. Do what you
But
got to do.
I think I'm going to give it a 2.5.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because here's the thing, like, I think if you haven't seen it, you should
Mhm.
to see if it's your cup of tea. It's got amazing people in it. I don't think they all act well, but they're in it.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's nostalgic. So for Brianna today, it's a 2.5.
Okay.
For
Yeah.
Brianna, when she was 15, it's a 5. Easy.
Yeah.
That one I don't even have to think about. I would have
No,
given it a 5.
if you are 15
hard.
and you listen to our podcast for some reason, go watch this movie because it's going to be the best thing you've ever seen. You're going to feel so
Absolutely.
seen.
Mhm.
It's going to go so hard. Like,
Yes.
Mhm. Yep.
That's where I'm at.
yeah.
Okay, I'll do the same thing. The Lara today, I rated a 3.5. Again, just as a movie, not as a horror. I feel like to me it held up a little bit more than I was expecting it to, and maybe again that's just because I feel so nostalgic about it
Yeah.
that I can appreciate, even though it doesn't hit the same as when I was a teenager. The Lara, when I first saw it and saw it multiple times after that, also would give it a 5.
No, I mean, yeah, if you're in your teens, this is the best
Mhm.
movie ever made.
Yep.
Like,
Mhm.
because it does, we already said, it nails
Yeah.
teen angst.
Yes.
It does.
Like, just being so, but again, in a way that, like, actually works.
Yeah,
It
it's like
honors it. It doesn't-
authentic and genuine.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
I think the writer, director, like, he was,
Yeah,
again, he
it's
was
not making
24
fun of-
when he made it. So, like, he was probably thinking about it, or very, very early 20s. Like, it's like he got it in a way that only someone who was still, like, somewhat
Yes.
close to that age could. I think
Mhm.
him
Like-
being young made him write
Totally.
this
It's
better.
not mocking. It's not, it's
Right.
it's really genuine.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, when you're, like, 15, it's like everything is the end of the world.
Yeah, literally.
Like, emotions are never higher,
Right.
you know, and like it nails teen angst.
Totally.
Yeah, I think for me as a whole, just as a movie, I was also thinking 2.5, which honestly I thought, Brian, I thought you were going to give it higher.
I
was,
know.
like,
That's why I'm
straight
like, am
my
I about to
2.5.
say this?
Yeah.
I'm the highest one. Dang, girls.
Yeah.
Philip would be
Right.
so disappointed in me. Sorry.
But not teen you.
Yeah.
Teen you gets it.
Yes. No, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, definitely
watch
go
it.
watch it. Because
Yeah.
it's like, it's an experience,
Mm-hmm.
this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And watch the theatrical. Maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Like if you've already seen it and you're now older and want to do a rewatch, do the director's cut. But if
Yeah.
it's your first time, theatrical for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next time we're doing a modern day classic and we're going to watch Get Out. which
I haven't watched it in so long.
So I watched it around the time that it came out. I didn't like see it in the theaters. I just saw it at home, and I haven't seen it since. So I'm very
same.
excited.
Watched it when it came out. Haven't watched it since.
So if
we're finally getting to a scary one, I think.
I know. So if you haven't seen it, get watching, get sipping, and we'll see you next time on Spooky Sips.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Spooky Sips. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening. To stay up to date on all the spooky things we're up to, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at spookysips_podcast. And if you want to help support the podcast, consider buying us a coffee, or really a cocktail. We are completely independent, so every little bit goes a long way to keeping our podcast running and improving. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.